In today's video, I am going to be breaking down Jaden Springer and how he shoots the basketball. He is one of the better shooters in this year's NBA draft. So let's get down, let's see how he shoots and see if we can incorporate any of his tactics into our game. Let's check him out. Okay, so the first thing I really want to focus on is the fact that he is slightly tilted away from the basket. This is extremely important. This is something that I talk about in every single shooting form video, and that is because, of course, we really want to have his shoulder in line with his elbow towards the basket. Now, his set point seems to be just away from his forehead and, of course, towards that right side. Now, he seems to have more of a one-motion shot. However, we do see that he does pause for a brief millisecond at that set point. From there, we can also see from this angle that, of course, he has a split finger release between his, of course, middle finger and what looks to be his ring finger. We can see that right there. His pointer finger is slightly off the ball right there. So that tells us that that is to allow for more touch points on the ball, which sometimes can help with, of course, the accuracy with that shot. We can also see that he does not release with a thumb flick, which of course some really good shooters do have that. However, we do not see that with Jaden Springer. What we also do see is that after he releases that ball, his wrist and his shooting hand seems to be pointed off towards the right side, and then he corrects it in towards the middle. Now, this is kind of interesting, even though he is a very high percentage three-point shooter. However, I would actually be inclined to wonder and try, if I was his shooting coach, to see if that has anything to do with maybe adding 2 or 3% to his shooting if he was to release forward and not let his wrist move out and then spring it forward like he does. We can also see from this angle that he is up onto his toes and that his shoulders are over his knees, or at least in line with his feet, and his knees seem to be slightly above but also beyond his toes, which of course that could really make his shot essentially more powerful. He may jump forward quite a bit on this shot, which he does jump a bit forward. Now, something that I really do tell a lot of players is if you do jump forward, make sure that you jump forward about the same distance every single time. Because basically what happens is if you were to jump forward this far, and then next time you jump a little bit farther, you now need to take power off of that ball or release it even higher. And when you start playing around with different distances when you jump, now you are essentially needing to adjust your upper body. So generally speaking, you want to come or jump up and down, straight up and down. However, that's not always the case. Something you're also going to be noticing in the NBA as well is starting this next year, they're going to be really incorporating a rule where you've got yourself a shooting cylinder. If you jump outside of that shooting cylinder and you get hit, it would then be an offensive foul on you, and it really does sound like they're going to be implementing that in this year's NBA. So for those players who are jumping forward on their shot, they really have to watch out these days. However, on this shot, we still do see that his shoulders are slightly back, but now they're in line with his knees and his heels. What you're now getting to is somebody who doesn't have a set shooting form and who tends to change it. Now, for somebody who shoots a lot, for somebody like a Jaden Springer who shoots the basketball a ton, you're going to see that not affect their shot at all. However, for younger players or for new players who shoot with different forms, they're going to be inconsistent until they get enough reps. What you really want to keep the same is essentially from your waist up, and then you want your bottom half to really accompany what you're doing for your top half. So, of course, here we see him jump straight up and straight back down, only jumped maybe 2 or 3 inches forward, which is totally fine. We also do see that he has a hard wrist but soft hand flick, which will then give him the ability to have a high arcing shot, but also with lots of back rotation on that ball. The reason why you want to have lots of backspin on that ball is for when that bounces at that rim, and let's say it hits the rim, all of that backspin is going to allow it to hit that rim softly so we can see it hopefully bounce in. However, here we do see that he swishes it. We can also see here that he doesn't necessarily have a dip in his shot. We can see that he catches it, he brings it down to his waist. However, he doesn't dip it below his waist. Some players will dip it below their waist, almost like a backswing in golf. However, we don't see that with Jaden Springer, so he has a very quick release, and that is what's helping him being able to get it over top of defenses, as we see here. In this clip right here, what we're basically seeing is a nice high release. We're seeing his elbow above his forehead, and what we are also seeing is that quick release by not dipping, which will allow him to again get that ball over top of a defender who is flying at him. He's also using the shot fake because of course he is such a great shooter to be able to get to the rim as well. And that is one way that you can use your shot to your advantage. Once you get to the point where you start hitting a few of those threes, you're going to have defenses really scrambling out to defend you. And then you can use that to your advantage to attack that rim. And also don't forget the mid-range shot as well. So use that pump fake, get that defender in the air, take one dribble, and then take a mid-range shot. Of course, he does miss this shot here, but that is something that if I were you, I would definitely be really practicing doing stuff like that. Having a pylon at the three-point line, have somebody pass you the ball, take a quick shot fake, and then one dribble drive in, and then take that jump shot. That's going to be really beneficial to you. I hope that this video helps you be able to shoot the basketball better, but also understand Jaden Springer's jump shot. If it does, hit that like button, subscribe, go check out all of the equipment that I use down in the description below, and I'll see you guys again next time.